welcome. You are watching In Your Interest here on News 9. I am Krishna Kumar. And tonight we unpack a bombshell that's shaking the foundations of Kerala's left citadel. A 2019 audit report buried for 6 long years, revealing a treasure trove of missing gold, ivory and accountability at the Guruvayur Temple, one of Kerala's holiest Hindu heartbeat center. Now, this is not just about vanished valuables, it's a ticking time bomb for Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan's LDF government in Kerala, erupting mere months before the 2026 Assembly elections of Kerala and echoing the ghosts of Sabarimala's gold heist, with the BJP baying for blood and the Congress party sharpening its pitchforks. The question is not if temples are being looted, but why the guardians of the faith seem asleep at the sanctum sanctorum. Let's cut straight to the heart of this divine debacle, where devotion meets dereliction. The Guruvayur Devaswam Board's 2019 audit finally surfaced like a reluctant confession, painting a picture of grotesque governance lapses that would make even the most skeptical devotee weep. More than 530 kilograms of priceless ivory from the Punnatur Elephant Fort are unaccounted for, while gold crowns mysteriously swapped for silver replicas, leaving jewelers and the faithful scratching their heads. Add to that a 79 lakh rupee hemorrhage from a lapsed SBI gold deposit scheme, untraced coral wood seeds and saffron flowers meant for the deity's adornment, and a whopping 2,000 kilograms of cookware valued at 15 lakh rupees simply erased from the ledgers. The audit report we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is scathing. And here is the real gut punch. No annual physical verification of these treasures in over 40 years. This flouts the sacred Guruvayur Devaswam rules of the year 1980. The report reveals a financial black hole where combined expenditures ballooned to 25 crore rupees beyond earnings, all while audit documents gathered dust in bureaucratic basements. The report does not mince words. It urges ironclad financial discipline, unyielding accountability and crystal clear transparency. And what about the board's response? A defiant shrug wrapped in legalese that reeks of deflection. In a detailed affidavit to the Kerala High Court, the Guruvayur Devaswam Board insists that every shortfall has been rectified. They have dismissed the audit as outdated and misinterpreted administrative hiccups. They claim it's all been sorted in the shadows of paperwork, but with the High Court already breathing down their necks, this feels less like closure and more like a plea bargain before the real trial by public opinion. It's a script we've all seen before, where boards appointed through political horse trading promise piety but deliver pilferage. Now zoom out to the chilling common thread stitching Guruvayur to Sabarimala, 2 jewels in Kerala's temple crown. In Sabarimala, 4.5 kilograms of gold stolen during 2019 renovations on the idols and door frames. Guruvayur mirrors the mess. Gold swapped, ivory gone AWOL, and mythical annual audits. Oversight mechanisms are failing faster than a monsoon mudslide, with both boards hauled before the courts for systemic sins, where justices declare all officials equally accountable. And politically, this is a dynamite on the eve of the Kerala elections, where temple scandals are not footnotes but front page firestorms and dominate the discourse. For Pinarayi Vijayan's LDF, this is no mere audit ache. It's an electoral cholesterol threatening to clot their arteries of power. The revelations crash-landed just after the global Ayyappa Sangamam, that grand 2025 conclave meant to mend fences with Hindu hearts post Sabarimala. Now it has only reopened wounds wider than the Pamba river in floods. BJP is roaring that no one could have imagined a government looting gold from Sabarimala, branding it systemic looting to rally upper caste voters who've been drifting rightwards since the 2019 poll rout. Congress party, not to be outdone, claims that they are fighting for faith and against those who stole Lord Ayyappa's assets. With polls like the latest Manorama surveys showing LDF's support teetering at just 39%, a whisper from 2021's 45%, this temple test could erode that fragile edifice, especially in Hindu-heavy strongholds. Pinarayi Vijayan's image as the unyielding reformer is cracking under the weight of these gold-plated controversies, forcing him into a defensive crouch amidst accusations of temple trusts run by brokers.
Devasam board has been converted into an organization of brokers and corrupt. And as we have predicted now, Guruvayur Temple is saying there's 25 crores missing. So God only knows how many years, how much of money, how much of loot from these Hindu temples both the Congress and the CPM have done for the last 30 years. For years on end, there is no audit. For years on end, there is no inventory. And these are being used and exploited as if they are piggy banks for the CPM and the Congress party.
Devasam board has no accurate information, accurate data about the gold, silver and other valuables that is there with the Devasam board. I think this is a very serious issue. The officials who are heading the Devasam board, Guruvayur Devasam board, also should be brought before the law for the breach of the conditions that has been issued by the High Court of Kerala.
Hundreds of kilograms of gold, silver, elephant tusk and saffrons are missing, and there are no records regarding the utensils of the temple. This is a sad state of affairs. The High Court being the nodal agency of supervising the audit findings of Guruvayur Devasam, we request the High Court to take stern action against the management of the Guruvayur Devasam. Vishwa Hindu Parishad being an organization has already filed a petition in Kerala High Court regarding the happenings in Guruvayur and requested for special audit of the inventories of all the Devasam boards of Kerala, including Sabarimala, Guruvayur, Kudalmanikya Kshetram, Malabar Devasam Board, Cochin Devasam Board, etc.
Now this scandal thrusts us into the eternal tug of war over temple treasures. Should the state have control, or let faithful steer the ship? On one side, champions of state oversight hail it as the bulwark against mismanagement, where government audits pierce the veil of secrecy to ensure transparency. They also bring in social reforms like temple entry for all castes and funding welfare lifelines from schools to hospitals. It stops commercial vultures from circling sacred skies and enforces democratic accountability, arguing that in a secular republic, no altar should stand above law. But the chorus against state control is ringing equally louder. Critics claim that it tramples Article 26's shield of religious autonomy, discriminates by shackling only Hindu temples while others flourish freely. It also invites political puppeteers to stuff boards with loyalists, leading to asset avalanches like land and gold vanishing under vigilant eyes that see nothing. Globally, faiths from Vatican vaults to Mecca's minarets manage their own without state strings. So why not here, where Kerala's outlier status breeds only outrage? Big questions that are staring at us tonight. Can Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan's government pivot from defender to reformer with independent devotee-led boards? Should Article 26's autonomy extend to Hindu temples also? We are looking for answers, and joining us to help us find some of those answers are Dr. Ajiz Ben Matthews, spokesperson of the Kerala Congress, Colonel S. Dinny, spokesperson of the Kerala BJP, K.S. Prasad, political analyst, and Dr. Basavaraja Kodagunti, Professor, Central University of Karnataka, all joining us. Thank you, all of you, for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest on News 9. Let me begin with Dr. Ajiz Ben Matthews, spokesperson of the Kerala Congress Party. Talk to us one after the other, the biggest and the most famous temples, which are heartbeats of Hinduism in Kerala, are witnessing gold and treasures missing and no audits taking place. You can argue for state control only up to a point, but when there is mismanagement time and again, and this is not just Kerala that we're talking about, the questions are being raised across other parts of South India also. The questions are being raised in Tamil Nadu. Questions are being raised in Karnataka as well. So, when there is so much mismanagement by state control, which was meant to cut down on mismanagement, how can you look the other way, Dr. Ajiz Ben Matthews?
Krishna, actually, I am not that much aware about temples outside Kerala. But in Kerala, as you have stated, the state control, the issue of state control, that's not possible at all. Because Krishna, you may be well aware of about the temples in Kerala. There are more than 1,400 temples in Kerala coming under Devasam board. And most of these temples, majority of these temples are not at all self-reliant. Even there are no money to even light the lamp over there in the evenings or to put oil in the lamps. And that's the situation in most of the temples. The government is the government has been funding all these temples, and grants has been issued to Devasam board for the maintaining of all these temples. And there is another misunderstanding. I may clear that misunderstanding. That no money or no fund or no offering that's been given by the devotees in Sabarimala or else any other temple, that's not taken away from Sabarimala. The fund or the offerings, the money, whatever things the devotees are giving there in Sabarimala,
right,
it's only used in the Sabarimala itself. Okay. Not even a single penny, I'll underline, not even a single penny is being taken out of Sabarimala, and it's not being used for any other purpose.
Let me ask this straight. Dr. Ajiz Ben Matthews, are you a proponent of state control of temples or not?
Actually, I was trying to get into that point.
Okay.
There should be some sort of monitoring and there should be some sort of control over all these things. Because as I have told you, these temples, most of the temples, they're suffering from lack of money. Daily needs are not being met properly. So government funding is very vital for that temples, for the maintaining of the temples under Devasam board. Even after all this monitoring, even after all these control, many guidelines have been issued, legislations have been driven. Even then, all these misappropriations are going on there. Vigilance inquiries are now we came to know about the robbing of the gold. Many other things are being taken out of Sabarimala. Even the Dwaramalaga idol, that has been taken out of Sabarimala. Now, now the Guruvayur Temple. Now you are stating about the Guruvayur Temple. Even in Guruvayur Devasam, there has been some sort of misappropriations going on.
Yes.
So even after all these government controls and all these regulations, these sort of things are happening. So imagine where there is no government control and there is no government guidelines.
Okay.
What will be the fate of it?
Dr. Ajit Ben Matthews, I get your point. We have Mr. Dilip Cherian, founder Perfect Relations and Image Group, also joining us now on the discussion. Mr. Dilip Cherian, thank you for taking time out to be with us. This is a debate that has been going on for several years. We've heard this in Tamil Nadu as well. Why is state control of temples necessary? And more importantly, doesn't it violate Article 26 of the Constitution? If there is going to be state control and yet so much mismanagement, and you're talking about state control boards which are stuffed with loyalists, political loyalists who are not necessarily the faithfuls, this is a good time to relook at our predisposition that state control is the best solution for temples in this country.
I think, Krishna, there are two major issues at stake here. One is, I think that most people will agree that there needs to be a certain uniformity in practice. So what is being done with a temple should be the same kinds of regulations that works with mosques, with gurdwaras, with churches, and with other places of worship. That is how you would expect a functioning democracy to work. The second thing, having been someone who has been writing a column on the bureaucracy for close to 30 years, I can promise you one thing, that state control is not without its own set of problems. Please let us not ascribe some kind of brilliance or necessarily transparency or rule abidingness just because you've included bureaucrats into the mix. So I think we need to recognize that handing over or continuing with powers of the government is not the best thing to do. Just since in India, cricket is as much of a religion as religion itself, let's look at how long it's taken for the regulations to work such that BCCI, which controls Indian cricket, has actual cricketers on board as opposed to politicians. So I don't think that the answer lies in just looking at it from a narrow prism of just religious structures. Keep in mind also that across India, there must be less than 2 or 3 dozen institutions of religion which have huge funds which are possibly in jeopardy. So, the numbers are not very large, but the principles need to be simple, clear, and uniform, and we should not expect that because government is in control, things will be also clean and squeaky, according to the rules.
Stay with us. Let me quickly take this across to Colonel S. Dinny, spokesperson of Kerala BJP. Colonel S. Dinny, you've seen the fact that the Chief Minister himself has completely dismissed all these allegations as minor hiccups and a misrepresentation of the audits.
Mr. Krishna Kumar, see, taking off from what Mr. Dilip Cherian said just now, that, where should the state have its right or control over these temples? The same Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan once famously went in front of the temple at Guruvayur, and, he was asking, oh, is that the person inside sitting, is it Guruvayurappan? So this is the person, if that is the machinery which is functioning in Kerala, so you can understand what are the officials, how will they toe the line. The issue here is, like what Mr. Dilip Cherian very rightly said, that the issue of faith should be left to the faithfuls, the devotees. They are more than competent enough to handle those issues. Like you mentioned in your introduction, when things can be handled by other religions, why can't Hindus handle their own religion? Of course, there will be issues at some place or the other, but more or less, today, most of the temples can be managed at their own level. I myself have my own family temple, which is a very small temple, but it has been managed by those people who are actual devotees, not people who believe in some ideology where there is no faith, there is no God. So if those kind of people become administrators, you can only imagine what will be the condition of the temple. Suddenly gold becomes copper, and suddenly the gold becomes silver. All these things can happen because those the administrators of these temples do not believe in any religion as per their political ideology. For them, it is just a matter of administration, and for people like us, it is a matter of faith. So there's a difference there.
Yeah.
So that is why state control, as much as possible, should be avoided. Of course, it's a larger debate in which there are a lot of other issues also. But as a principle, what Mr. Dilip Cherian said, it should be common for all. We are a secular nation. We are a democratic nation. It should be common for all. It cannot be standing against a particular community. When other communities can manage their issues very well, I don't see any reasons why Hindus cannot manage their own temples.
Yeah.
And one issue more I would just like to correct.
Yeah.
Dr. Ajit Ben Matthews mentioned that the money of Sabarimala remains at Sabarimala. That is not true. The Sabarimala, the savings and the other things which come are distributed as per official claims into other temples, so that their things can be taken care of. But you can well imagine, Mr. Krishnamar, where there is no audit even for a year. There is no physical verification even in a temple like Guruvayur. Where does this money go? Does anybody know? Is there any audit system? There is nothing which the common man or the citizen in Kerala will ever come to know what is happening inside these well-to-do temples. So
Yeah.
you can imagine there are so many other temples under the Devasam board which is absolutely in shambles. Absolutely in shambles.
Yeah.
Despite all so-called government support and everything, it is become it's institutionalized corruption on the basis of their political ideology. That's what I call it.
Okay.
Nothing else. There is absolutely no faith. There's nothing. It is just corruption at its very best.
Fair enough. Mr. K.S. Prasad, let me bring this to you now. At this stage, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is facing a very important test of credibility of his own personality and the government of Kerala if it is hoping to retain power in the next elections, isn't it? This is a litmus test of how the administration responds considering the back-to-back scandals that have erupted.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to the panelists, and good evening to the viewers. Sir, the LDF is in government, and people of Kerala are quite aware that they are Hindus or Nastics, whatever you name it as. End of the day, their ideology towards God and all, people are quite aware of it. It won't make any litmus test for LDF as
Okay.
far as their governance.
So you don't think this is you don't think this is an issue that's going to become a political hot potato in the coming election season?
Definitely. As you said, it may be, it may not be. That's we're talking about this. As the gentleman from Congress and the gentleman from BJP said very clearly, as long as this particular Devasthanams are under the political shades, it is nothing but a rehabilitation center for the people who are not gaining some power and who are not in power. And as long as these people have been tolerated, and the gentleman from Congress very clearly said, as far as his own temple is concerned, he said that we have been maintaining. And our all head of the religious institutions, unfortunately, like Tirupati, and these gentlemen are already visited Tirupati, Agama Sastram and Pedaji here was sitting there, and even all head of institutions from Hindu, these things, they have been belongings to respect to Guruvayur Temple and other temples like Tiruchanur, whatever you name it as, including Sabarimala. But these people are nothing but puppets, having a stick on their this thing for which a flag of orange, and all this Hindu headquarters, Viswa Hindu Parishad was there for nationwide to protect Hindus. What's their role as far as Hindu protections and temples protections are concerned? Southern states are nothing but Hindu headquarters. If you look at Sabarimala, Guruvayur, Tirumala, and you name any place in Tamil Nadu, thousands and lakhs of people will gather over there. What is the role of Viswa Hindu Parishad? Can you please? To build a Ram Mandir, their presence will make a lot of differences for people around. But what about state of Andhra Pradesh, state of Telangana, state of Tamil Nadu, state of Kerala, state of Madras, Tamil Nadu? These people are the traditional people, and they are the people who are the real devotees for the God. And what's the role of Viswa Hindu Parishad? Today, every party smartly says that about the boards. Next government, Congress comes, they'll plan their own board. BJP comes, they plan their own board.
So, Mr. Prasad, you're essentially saying that it is time to abolish state control and these state-appointed boards to manage temples in this country.
No. The Supreme Court guidelines are very clear and evident. As far as EO is concerned to the respective temples, their role, if the two priests have been fighting, he has to go and settle the issue. That is his role. But he plans himself, he had his own quarter, he had his own car, he had his own bangla, and he visits as if he's the chief minister for the respective temple. This is how the things are happening for entire southern temples from years and decades together. Talking about audits, all these temples have been built by Maharajas. Those accountability with registers, they have been handed over. Every year, why these parties won't do any audits? It is their primary duty. And unfortunately, these accounts are being maintained by the government authority banks. As you said, SBI, won't they have their own audit? What sort of deposits are taking place? What sort of gold treasuries are
Clearly,
being
Mr. Prasad, clearly they haven't. Clearly, so, there is a 1980s rule, and for 4 decades, none of the audits have been done on an annual basis for 4 decades.
You're talking about temples audit. I am talking about these will not be hanging around the temples. These people, these things are being kept in the respective banks. Already these people are having their own audits. If these sort of shortfalls comes, why they are not exhibiting it? As some 4.5 kgs gold is missing. This gold has been taken and this been used to what you call spray the gold coating for the respect to Sabarimala. Why they are not giving accountability? The respect to SBI or whatever the bank you name it as. 79 lakhs worth of gold has been given or 4.5 kgs gold has given to spray the gold paint. What they have done? Why they are not revealing it? Because they are taken as granted. This in the head of the religious institutions, they are nothing but having fun with the people around. They won't bother to involve in temple matters. Even if they say also, these board people will not let them to do. Then what for we are all? We have been treating and we have been considering as if we are Hindus. And every time we need to prove. If BJP says that we are Hindus, and what about you and what about me? What about the gentlemen who are sitting in this? And if things comes to Hinduism, there takes the brand. But they won't bother about the secular state. In 1975 Constitution Amendment, they won't bother. Supreme Court guidelines as far as EOs and what roles the board should play in the respective temples. They never consider.
Okay.
According to their whims and fancies, they do all sort of luxurious things. If there's shortfalls, they say that if down the line they're going to have elections now, they say all sort of excuses. Audit, why audit is not there? Before this, there's a Congress government now. Did they reveal Congress? A Congress audit has been shown to the people around. You're talking about 40 years. Is Pinarayi Vijayan has been there for the last 40 years?
No.
What about the previous government? What's their responsibilities?
Fair enough. Mr. Dilip Cherian, just one last word in before we wrap this discussion up. Clearly, state control, if the mechanisms are followed accordingly, according to the Supreme Court's orders, then we wouldn't be having this conversation today. Is it a matter then of better enforcement of Supreme Court guidelines rather than changing the paradigm completely per se?
I fully agree with you, Krishna. When there is a Supreme Court ruling, honest implementation of that is what works within our constitution. What I was talking about was an ab initio kind of discussion, but I think that given that there are clear orders, the lack of implementation of that in both letter and spirit is what needs to be questioned.
Okay.
And definitely, people of this country deserve to make sure that their faith is anchored in the right set of account books and the right set of assets.
Fair enough. Fair point. We'll leave it at that. We're completely out of time here. Mr. Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relations and Image Group, Mr. K.S. Prasad, political analyst, Colonel S. Denny, spokesperson of Kerala BJP, and Dr. Ajiz Ben Matthews, spokesperson of Kerala Congress. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us here on In Your Interest. And with that, it's a wrap here from my side. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
Bala sees his bike.
Seizing my bike for speed? Under which rule?
No, not any rule. It's perfectly working.
It's pretty obvious, sir. I take good care.
What type of care?
Do timely oil checks and use only weed oil.
Engine oil.
Yes. Okay, sir. I'll take your leave.
Okay. First, deliver our order.
But here it's written Saurav Ganguly. Oh, wow, sir. Sir.
Saurav Ganguly and hordes of riders have tested and trusted Vidol engine oil. It actually keeps the engine clean from deep within.
Light, camera, and action. Kick back.